Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Jai Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Hey Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hey Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Hey Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jai Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Jaya Radha Kalachandji Radha Kalachandji Radhe. Jaya Radha Kalachandji Radha Kalachandji Radhe. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm going to play Mridanga for just this one. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 A reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8. We start reading. Well, Canto 8, Chapter 12, Text 1 through 11, with the focus on 10.
Shukadeva Goswami said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari in the form of a woman captivated the demons and enabled the demigods to drink the nectar. After hearing of these pastimes, Lord Shiva, who is carried by a bull, went to the place where Madhusudana, the Lord, resides, accompanied by his wife Amma and surrounded by his companions, the ghosts. Lord Shiva went there to see the Lord's form as a woman.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead welcomed Lord Shiva and Uma with great respect. And after being seated comfortably, Lord Shiva duly worshipped the Lord and smilingly spoke as follows.
Lord Mahadev said, O chief demigod among the demigods, O all-pervading Lord, master of the universe, by your energy you are transformed into the creation. You are the root and efficient cause of everything. You are not material. Indeed, you are the super soul or supreme living force of everything. Therefore, you are Parameshvara, the supreme controller of all controllers.
Text 5. The manifest the unmanifest false ego and the beginning, maintenance and annihilation of this cosmic manifestation all come from you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because you are the Absolute Truth, the Supreme Absolute Spirit Soul, the Supreme Brahman, such changes as birth, death and sustenance do not exist in you.
Pure devotees or great saintly persons who desire to achieve the highest goal in life and who are completely free from all material desires for sense gratification engage constantly in the transcendental service of your lotus feet.
My Lord, you are the Supreme Brahman, complete in everything. Being completely spiritual, you are eternal, free from the material modes of nature, and full of transcendental bliss. Indeed, for you there is no question of lamentation. Since you are the supreme cause, the cause of all causes, nothing can exist without you. Yet, we are different from you in a relationship of cause and effect. For in one sense, the cause and effect are different. You are the original cause of creation, manifestation, and annihilation, and you bestow benedictions upon all living entities. Everyone depends upon you for the results of his activities, but you are always independent.
My dear Lord, your Lordship alone is the cause and the effect. Therefore, although you appear to be two, you are the Absolute One. As there is no difference between the gold of a golden ornament and the gold in the mine, there is no difference between cause and effect. Both of them are the same. Only because of ignorance do people conduct differences and dualities. You are free from material contamination. And since the entire cosmos is caused by you and cannot exist without you, it is an effect of your transcendental qualities. Thus, the conception that Brahman is true and the world false cannot be maintained.
Those who are known as the impersonalist Vedantists regard you as the impersonal Brahman. Others, known as the Mimamsaka philosophers, regard you as religion. The Sankhya philosophers regard you as the transcendental person who's beyond Prakriti and Purusha, and who's the controller of even the demigods. The followers of the codes of devotional service, known as the Pancharatras, regard you as being endowed with 9 different potencies, and the Patanjala philosophers, the followers of Patanjali Muni, regard you as the supreme independent personality of Godhead who has no equal or superior.
O my Lord, I who am considered to be the best of the demigods, and Lord Brahma, and the great rishis headed by Marichi, are born of the mode of goodness. Nonetheless, we are bewildered by your illusory energy, and cannot understand what creation is. Aside from us, what is to be said of others, like the demons and human beings, who are in the base modes of material nature, Rajoguna and Tamoguna? How will they know you?
Text 11. My Lord, you are the supreme knowledge personified. You know everything about this creation and its beginning, maintenance, and annihilation. And you know all the endeavors made by the living entities, by which they are either implicated in this material world or liberated from it. As the air enters the vast sky, also enters the bodies of all moving and non-moving entities. You are present everywhere, and therefore you are knower of all.
Okay, now we'll do the Sanskrit for text 10. Naham prayayur rishayo namarichi mukha. Wait. Premanana. Naham prayayur rishayo mamarichi mukha. Jnanantiya vidachitam kalu sattva sargaha. Yanmayaya mushita chetasa isha daitya. Martyadaya kimuta shashvadad bhadra vrittaha. Naham prayurisho na murichi mukya. Jnanantiya virachitam kalu sattva sargaha. Yan mayaya mushita chetasa isha daitya. Martya daya kimuta shashvada bhadra vrittaha. Please chant. So we'll do the synonyms together. Na, neither. Aham, I. Pada ahu, that personality who lives for millions and millions of years, Lord Brahma. Rishayaha, the 7 rishis of the 7 planets. Na, nor. Marichi, Mukhya, headed by Marichi Rishi. Jananti, no. Yet, by whom? The Supreme Lord. Vidachitam, this universe which has been created. Kalu, indeed. Sattvasargaha, although born in the mode of material goodness. Yat mayaya, by the influence of whose energy. Mushita chetasaha, their hearts are bewildered. Isha, O my Lord. Daitya, the demons. Martya adaya, the human beings and others. Kimutu, what to speak of. Shashvat, always. Abhajavrittaha, influenced by the base qualities of material nature. So translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. O my Lord, I am considered to be the best of the demigods, and Lord Brahma and the great rishis, headed by Marichi, are born of the mode of goodness. Nonetheless, we are bewildered by your illusory energy and cannot understand what this creation is. Aside from this, what is to be said of others, like the demons and human beings, who are in the base modes of material nature, Rajaguna and Tamaguna? How will they know you? Purport. Actually speaking, even those who are situated in the material mode of goodness cannot understand the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What then is to be said of those who are situated in Rajagun and Tamagun, the base qualities of material nature? How can we even imagine the Supreme Personality of Godhead? There are so many philosophers trying to understand the absolute truth, but since they are situated in the base qualities of material nature and are addicted to so many bad habits like drinking, meat eating, illicit sex, and gambling, how can they conceive of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? For them it is impossible. For the present day, the Pancharatriki Vidhi, as enunciated by Narada Muni, is the only hope. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore has quoted the following verse from the Brahma Yamala. Shruti Shmiti Paranadi Pancharatri Vidhim Vina Ahantiki Hadir Bhaktir Utpatayeva Kalpate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. That's from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.101. Those who are very advanced in knowledge and are situated in the mode of goodness follow the Vedic injunctions of the Shruti and Shmiti and other religious scriptures, including the Pancharatriki Vidhi. Without understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this way, one only creates a disturbance. In this age of Kali, so many gurus have sprung up, and because they do not refer to the Shruti, Shmiti, Puranadi, Pancharatrika, Vidhi, they are creating a great disturbance in the world in regard to understanding the absolute truth. However, those who follow the Pancharatriki Vidhi under the guidance of a proper spiritual master can understand the absolute truth. It is said, Pancha Rachasya Krishnasya Vyaktatu Bhagavan Swayam. The Pancharatra system is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just like Bhagavad Gita. Vasudeva Shadana Vidur Anja Saiva. The truth can be understood only by one who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Vasudeva. Bahunam janmanam ante gyanavanmam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabaha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Bhagavad Gita 7:19. Only those who have surrendered to the lotus feet of Vasudeva can understand the absolute truth. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janatyasya Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yad Ahautukam. By rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Bhagavatam 1.2.7. Therefore Vasudeva, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, personally teaches in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. Bhaktyamam abhijananti avanyaschasmi tatvataha. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. Bhagavad Gita 18.55. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not properly understood even by Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, what to speak of others, but he can be understood by the process of Bhakti Yoga. Maya asakta mana partha yogam yunjad madashraya asamshayam samagramam yatha jajasitat shrinu. Bhagavad Gita 7.1. If one practices Bhakti Yoga by taking shelter of Vasudeva Krishna, simply by hearing Vasudeva speak about himself, one can understand everything about him. Indeed, one can understand him completely. Samagram. Now we can do the Mangalacharna together. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinadbando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we're continuing the reading of the Mohini Murti pastime, and here Lord Shiva is asking, well, here he's approaching the Lord, and in the further verses it'll share how Lord Shiva was fascinated or interested in seeing this form of Mohini Murti. And it strikes me that you see all this detailed knowledge, right? Whenever we see prayers in the Bhagavatam, we see detailed knowledge of Krishna's being the cause of all causes, the source of everything that exists, and then after all these detailed descriptions of who Krishna is, then Shiva says, "But I don't know you," and so even myself, Lord Brahman, other demigods. So what to speak of human beings? So why are we here? Why am I here trying to talk about Krishna? If even Lord Shiva, who's beyond even a human being, who's like basically Krishna himself, is saying he doesn't know him. And Prabhupada gives so much clear understanding of how. So much, like basically the whole purport is just Prabhupada saying one sentence and then quoting a verse, right? To substantiate how to know Krishna. So, how can we know Krishna? We can think by devotional service. Yeah, Prabhupada quoted, right? Bhaktyamam avijananti yavanyaschasmi tatvataha. That I can be known as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is fully absorbed in such service, then one can know me as I am. Krishna's revealing the secret, right? It's just like ourselves, do we say we meet somebody for the first time? Do we tell them all of our vulnerable personality traits or whatnot? Do we reveal ourselves, our most vulnerable aspects of ourselves, or even any aspect of our personal life to them? No, it takes time to build trust. So the same, Krishna is conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion, right? That he may give, that's what the devotees say, that he may give liberation easily, but bhakti, he reserves until he sees the continuity or the consistency of loving devotional service in a relationship of consistency, right? then Krishna reveals, as he says in the Bhagavad Gita, as those surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly, that everyone follows my path in all respects. Or Krishna saying that as those approach me, I reciprocate with them accordingly. So sometimes devotees say that with your two hands, what can you hold? If Krishna wants to give you something, sometimes there's forms of Krishna, like there's, forearm form of Vishnu, but there's also there's another form where he's riding, it's talked about in the Bhagavatam, where he's riding on the back of Garuda and he has 8 arms. And if Krishna wants to give you something with his unlimited arms or with his unlimited love, how much can we accept? So Krishna, being omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent, the 3 omnis, with his omnipotency, he can make the minute living entity understand some of the unlimited, right? That's inconceivable, right? How can, like here, Lord Shiva is saying, we don't know you. How can anybody know you? But by Krishna's sweet will, right? If there's Prabhupada says that Krishna reserves the right to reveal himself, right? Just like in the verse, the first shloka that Prabhupada quotes in the purport, anybody remember off the top of their head? The first shloka that Prabhupada quotes in the purport, Shruti Shmiti Puranadi, right? And it says, the translation is devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures, and like the Upanishads, Puranas, Narada, Pancharatrika, or Pancharatra. So it's saying that even devotional service, it could be a disturbance if it's not in accordance with the authorized revealed scriptures. Why is it saying like that? Because what are the revealed scriptures? The revealed scriptures, just like at the end of the purport, Prabhupada saying that Krishna, if we hear about Krishna, especially from Krishna, about himself, like who can tell you better what they're like or what they want than themselves, right? Like sometimes they say, if the guru asks for water and you think, oh, I should give them milk, but they're telling you what they want. Just like one time on an airplane, Prabhupada asked for Sprite or 7-Up, and the stewardess was thinking, well, this personality has so many followers, and he's like, you can tell he's a very important person, I'll give him champagne. And so Prabhupada took a little sip and was like, passed it to his servant, and the servant, thinking it's Maha, took a little sip. And I mean, that's just a little side story that may make my point that, if the person who knows themselves or, can reveal what they want, what they like, what they don't like, and that's what Krishna does. That's what the Vedas are. The Vedas are Krishna, just like the Bhagavad Gita is the words or the song of Krishna. The Bhagavatam is description about Krishna and his relationship with his devotees. So this is what we're trying to line ourselves up with, is how to please Krishna, right? Because we all, in one sense, knowing Krishna is not the ultimate goal, right? But loving Krishna, even higher than knowing, is just like, let's say Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, like Narada Muni, he knows Krishna. And he went to, Nanda Maharaj and was saying, you shouldn't do like that to your son. You shouldn't try to discipline him, and because he's the absolute truth, the cause of all causes. All the material and spiritual energies emanate from your son. All the incarnations, the Mahavishnu and Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Kshirodakshai Vishnu, emanate from Krishna, who you're trying to discipline. And Nanda Maharaj is saying, no, if when you don't know, when he hears thunder and sees lightning, he runs and takes shelter of his mother Yashoda. You're saying like this. So on a certain level, to serve is higher than to know, right? To know. But at a certain phase, for us, we need all this sambandha gyan, or we need all this detailed information of how Krishna is the source of everything, for us to inspire us to start to serve. And then on higher levels, then we give up the knowledge and we just serve, right? Whether, just like Nanda Maharaj said, that whether he's God or whether he's not God, I don't care. I just want to. Or there was one, what's that beautiful verse by that one person who says, whether he's God or whether he's not God, I don't care. I just want to see him crawling in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. So now it's interesting, Lord Shiva, he's giving such detailed knowledge of Krishna's supremacy, and at the same time, he's saying, but I don't know you, so what to speak of others? So in one sense, because Krishna is unlimited, there's never a point where you think, okay, it's capped, I've understood Krishna. Even Krishna himself, he's fascinated by his ever-increasing beauty, like that one beautiful painting where he's in a palace and he's seeing his own reflection in the marble floor, and he's wants to taste the beauty, the sweetness of his own beauty by seeing his reflection, and he becomes, enamored. Who is this? And so all of us, that is the eternal reality, that will be eternally hankering and longing for wanting to know and to serve and to love Krishna. And then Krishna, it's just like we may understand a certain aspect of Krishna's personality, and then Krishna will increase. That's what I heard one time, how does something that is unlimited, it's already unlimited, it's eternal, how does something increase that's already unlimited? He said, this is the nature of Krishna, of the spiritual dimension, is that love for Krishna, attraction for for serving Krishna, it will eternally, unlimitedly increase in every one of us. So that what we're doing now, sometimes I say, well, okay, what's the difference between what you're doing and what goes on in the spiritual world? In one sense, nothing, just the quality. Just like you may have a mango, it may not be fully ripe, but it's just a matter of time before it ripens. And then that's what devotional service, as we mature and increase our desire and knowledge of Krishna, we increase our love, then we want to engage more. That's why they asked Prabhupada, what comes from chanting? Prabhupada said, more chanting. So the same. What comes from a little bit of hearing about Krishna? We want to hear more about Krishna. We want to hear directly from Krishna. And Krishna willing, one day, just like Prabhupada said, well, you can talk to the deity and you will hear Krishna. So same in our lives, we want to increase, and that's what these opportunities are. Prabhupada's temples are for all of us to share our inspiration with each other and open it up to as many souls to hear and chant and serve Krishna. So just a few thoughts on this section, if there's some reflections or questions. Who has the mic?
Yesterday I was listening to Jayapataka Swami tell a story about a young boy that was offering ladus to the deity, and he said the prayers, and then, but the ladus were still on the plate, even though they become prasadam. The boy started crying. So the deity asked him, well, why are you crying? And then he said, well, you didn't eat the ladus. And then the Lord said, well, I'm sorry. So then the deity ate up all the ladus on the plate. And then the mother said, well, he comes in with an empty plate. She said, well, what happened to all the ladus? He said, well, I offered them, and then the deity ate them. And then she said, oh, you ate all the ladus. He said, no, the deity ate them, And then you were saying that people talk to the deities. We know the Shakshi Gopal's story, the deity walking across India. Somebody said that Prabhupada was talking to the deity one time, but they couldn't hear the deity respond. So Prabhupada would say something, and then the deity would talk to Prabhupada. So we're all seeing the deity right now, Radhakala Chandji, and he's not talking to me, at least. He might be talking to other people in the room. So I was wondering when does that happen, or in a devotee's
Tomorrow.
life, where the deities are walk and talk with them.
I think that's one of the things that struck me about how rare a real devotee is like even Lord Shiva is saying that we don't know you. Lord Brahma doesn't know you. They're the topmost demigods in this universe. So the position of a devotee is very, very, very rare. We're all aspiring to revive our original Krishna consciousness. And what I forgot to talk about in the purport was that, just like Prabhupada's saying that the way that we know Krishna is through those that know Krishna, right? How do we know anything about Krishna is from Prabhupada. And where we get a little taste from practicing what he told us, we follow his instructions, and that inspires us to go a little deeper. So this is revealed knowledge. On a certain level, it's like when I was just coming around the movement, I remember I was washing tons of pots in the Miami temple, and there was a picture of Mother Yashoda chasing baby Krishna, and it looks very attractive in the Vrindavan forest, and she has a stick, and he's running, and he has like barely any clothes, and you can see his beautiful blue, and the painting's nice. But I was looking at that, and I was like, so this is the spiritual world, this is God, this is okay. And I started to cry, I was just like, wow, I'm just totally clueless. So yeah, it's a humbling reality to realize that we're so covered over most every living entity in the whole cosmic creation, and that this reality is revealed by those that are realized souls. That's what parampara is. Prabhupada, and even on Prabhupada's level, or even on devotees' levels of Prabhupada's disciples. It's like I read a story of Indradyumna Swami. He was going to close the Polish tour. They've been doing it for 30-something years. And he was thinking to start it in another country, but then he was praying deeply to Prabhupada and Krishna. And he didn't hear it. The way he explained it was that he was praying for a sign, what he should do. And then he got testimonies when he was walking out to give a Bhagavad Gita talk at one of the festivals. A person came up and was saying how that they've been coming for 30 years, and they brought their daughter, and they wanted to meet Maharaj personally, and they hadn't bought a Bhagavad Gita before, and now she just bought it after 30 years, and she's getting so much inspiration from the Bhagavad Gita, and so then Maharaj was like, okay, I hear you, Krishna. So sometimes Krishna may reciprocate or come to us in different ways. And the main way is by revealed by the words of the spiritual master. So Prabhupada tells us, gives us these purports, gives us the Bhagavatam, and then we try to mold our life in such a way to align ourselves to revive that and pray for that moment. But as of now, it's the same. It's also absolute. It's like Prabhupada said, Krishna speaking on the battlefield of Kurukshetra 5,000 years ago, and us opening up a Bhagavad Gita and hearing Krishna's words, reading it, is non-different. So when Prabhupada reveals the nature of Krishna, then it's non-different than as if we're talking, or seeing. Just like, another point I wanted to make was that when Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, there was barely anybody that knew that he was God, right? Prabhupada says just a few. And I looked it up, like in the database. And one of the lectures, Prabhupada said maybe 100 or 200 people. So there was how many people at the battlefield of Kurukshetra? According to what they say? 640 million? You guessing, or are you? Oh, wow. Yeah. So only a few people knew on this planet. And then by Krishna's grace, we're being given the map to Krishna. But it's not that we really know yet. We have a little faith and a little inclination, and we're going in this direction, but, just some thoughts on that. Anybody else like to share something related or different? Mother Sucharya?
Thank you very much. About your points about the Battle of Kurukshetra that you just made. Prabhupada writes in the Srimad Bhagavatam that most of the soldiers did not know Krishna, but when they saw him on the battlefield, they were so attracted by his beauty and his presence that they went back to Vaikuntha, just like that, just by appreciating Krishna. And then the point that Mishra Bhagavan Prabhu was making. I heard Srila Prabhupada say that each pujari should always know how Krishna feels. And then he said that every day one should do some personal service for the deity. They don't even have to be a Brahmin. They don't have to go on the altar. But they can bring fruits and flowers and prayers and homage to Krishna and try to bring some gift. Just like every Sunday feast, there's a huge pileup of offerings of love from all the congregation. It's so beautiful. So this is what Prabhupada wanted, that each person give some offering to Krishna every day. And he also stressed the point. He wrote a letter to all the temples, and he said, why am I asking you to chant 16 rounds a day? Why am I asking you to follow the regulative principles? He said, because if we do these things, then we are in the Guru Parampara, we're protected. And he said, Krishna will be pleased to accept the offerings of food. He said, Krishna does not have to eat our food. He doesn't have to eat any offerings. But if a devotee on the order of his spiritual master is painstakingly executing their service, keeping clean, their sadhana, having the right attitude, and following the principles, Prabhupada said Krishna will eat the offering, and that God is a person, Krishna is a person. And then he quoted the verse, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. So it's all a very intricate, intimate connection with the Lord. And again, Prabhupada said that a pujari should know how Krishna feels. Thank you.
Thank you, Mother Sucharya.
Thank you, Mother Sucharya. That was so beautiful. I just remembered as she was saying about this, at his Concho party, His Holiness Radhana Swami, keeping this in mind, he introduced a system. At the deity greetings, during Shingar Darshan at 7:30, everyone is offered the flowers, so that they get the opportunity to offer the flowers to the deities.
Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thank you. I have a question because Lord Shiva is speaking and he's saying that he's not able to understand the creation and he's not able to understand the Lord. And but then Prabhupada says that, well, Krishna says that Bhakti Mama Vijayanti, that by devotional service he can be known. And we hear that Lord Shiva is the best Vaishnava, Vaishnavanam Yatashambhu. So why is it that although Lord Shiva is the best Vaishnava and he's doing devotional service, and devotional service is the way to know Krishna, he doesn't know?
Yeah, I think what comes to mind is like when Lord Chaitanya says, I have no love for Krishna. And if you see it's like his whole life is just expressing ecstatic love for Krishna. So it's something like I was trying to express how the Krishna is unlimited, and also to make a point, like sometimes I'm thinking, oh, when they make these prayers, like Dhruva Maharaj's prayers, Dhruva expressed, I can't, he had a desire to express, to make prayers, but he felt inadequate because he was 5 years old. So Krishna touched his head with the conch shell, and then all these very eloquent philosophical prayers come out. And then part of me thinks, okay, is Krishna inspiring them to say certain things because this is what's going to go in the Bhagavatam? Because they're very similar prayers. They're all like, explaining how Krishna's, the cause of all causes. He's everything. He's separate. It's very... So maybe on one level, Krishna's inspiring Shiva to say it in a certain way to make a point. Like we say, he says, even if you're in the mode of goodness. So I think, the stress or the take home for me is that to be a devotee is a very rare thing. Like Prabhupada, we think because we are close, we're in years, we are close to Prabhupada, and then we're like also close in practice. Like we think, okay, Prabhupada, I'm doing what Prabhupada did. I mean, I wake up early, I chant rounds, he chants rounds, I follow the regs, he follows the regs, I distribute the books, he distributes, I try to follow my guru, we think we're close on one level, but like they say, sometimes, that a saint goes unnoticed in his own village kind of thing. The magnanimity or the specialty, like Prabhupada was once asked, who are you in the spiritual world? And he answered it in different ways. Sometimes he said that you do not require. Or another time he said, if I told you, you would faint. So Prabhupada is more, it's not like we say this on the Bhagavatam, he's more empowered than Lord Shiva. He's more empowered than Lord Brahma, or a real devotee, one who's so dedicated and instrumental in Krishna's hands is this, like they said, that a devotee doesn't care a fig for the demigods. But they're devotees too, on mixed devotees. But I think that's the take home for me, is that this expression is really magnifying what is a soul, a person, a soul who's fully surrendered, of a pure devotee. Mother Sucharya?
So he is the most empowered devotee. And when he sits in meditation, he doesn't even want a house. His wife wanted the house, but he didn't. He sits under the trees and he meditates constantly on Vishnu, on Lord Ram, on Lord Krishna. And then throughout all of that meditation and his thinking of the Lord, he still doesn't know anything about the Lord. And then the Lord interacts with him in so many ways, like with Mohini Morti. He dragged Lord Shiva all through the ashrams and, chastised him basically. And then also when Lord Shiva was approached by Vrikashura, Vrikashura was trying to kill Lord Shiva. And so Krishna bailed him out. He appeared as a little brahmachari. So there's all these fascinating pastimes between Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna. And even though Lord Shiva is always meditating on Krishna in his heart, in the prayers, in the Bhagavatam, the prayers sung by Lord Shiva, there's many wonderful insights and educating prayers that Lord Shiva is offering to Krishna, expressing his inability to understand him in any way. So it's quite beautiful, those prayers in the Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting the prayers of Lord Shiva.
Just to add to what Mother Sucharya said, I just remembered one time Gaur Gopal Prabhu mentioned this in his class. He said, Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu doesn't mean there are no other Vaishnavas better than him. There's so many of them, including Radharani and Lalita, Vishaka, Anantashesha himself, right, who has been glorifying with all of his thousands of more. So the point that he made really struck me. He said, why Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu? He said, imagine if we are asked not to wear any Vaishnava paraphernalia. Tomorrow onwards, no tilak, no kantimala, no dhoti, nothing. So Lord Shiva, he accepted that as a service, just to give or bestow his compassion upon those who are rejected even by the Lord, the ghostly beings.
Finish it up. Just Jumna.
Well, I had one little thought that if you think you know Krishna, you don't. And if you think you don't know Krishna, you know Krishna. So Lord Shiva is saying, I don't know Krishna. But in a sense, that means that you do know Krishna, because you know that Krishna is unknowable. And then as I had a question. I don't know if it's a long question or not, but you were talking about how when you first meet someone, they're not going to tell you their deepest secrets. They're not going to, show everything to you immediately. And Krishna's like that. When we first approach, he wants to see, are we sincere? He wants to see these things. And I've always tried to wrap my head around how it's simultaneously that we have to prove ourselves, we have to qualify ourselves, yet at the same time we've had an eternity of being, Krishna says he's our best friend. Krishna has been with us in countless bodies. So how can we say Krishna, we're a stranger, or in a sense? Krishna treats us like a stranger sometimes. He doesn't show himself all the way. He says, we don't have that relationship yet.
You know that phrase, once bitten, twice shy? That's what comes to mind, is now we may, intrinsically or eternally, we may be Krishna Prema, Nitya Siddha. We may be eternally lovers of Krishna, but because at some point in time, somehow or other, we've decided to try to enjoy separately from our relationship with Krishna, then Krishna's testing the waters, so to speak. But also at the same time, Krishna's eager to reciprocate with us. I think it's more, I mean, I mentioned it like that because that's how I felt. Like, Krishna's hard to understand, but actually Krishna is if there's a slight desire of the soul to want to know Krishna, Krishna gives many opportunities and reveals, like sometimes they say when a devotee comes, they could be more advanced than somebody who's practicing for a long time because of Krishna gives coming attractions, Krishna gives a lot of mercy to attract us to go deeper. So both things are there, like you brought up. Any last thing? Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. অনাদি করম ফলে পরি ভবনব জলে অনাদি বিকরম ফলে পরি ভবনব জলে চিন্তামণি প্রকরসদ্মসু কল্পবৃক্ষা प्रभु न गोरा प्रभु न भजिय महीने प्रेम रतन धन हराय गोरा प्रभु न भजिया मैंने प्रभु ना भजिया मैंने हमी गोरा पह ना भजिया मैंने मरतन धन हराय गोरा पह ना भजिया मैनू हमी गोरा पह ना भजिया मैनू हमी गोरा प्रभु ना भजिया मैनू गोरा पह ना भजिया मैनू मरता धन राज प्रेम रतन धन मैने गोरा पह ना भजिया मैने प्रेम रतन धन राय प्रेम रतन धन राय गोरा पह न भजिया मैनू या धाने जतन करी धन तेय दीन धने जातन करी